Hey, ambitious professionals. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Tegan Bartos, career coach. Well, actually, I consider myself a career strategist, speaker, and coach. So I guide people to professional success, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. So today I'm very excited to have a very special guest with me today, one of my good friends, Richie, to discuss with you a career option that a lot of young professionals forget to consider. So, Richie, if you could introduce yourself and kind of explain your path in life that led you to enlisting.
Hello, everybody. My name is Richie Pacheco. I enlisted in the Marine Corps for 4 years. What led me to enlist, I actually tried to enlist a couple of times when I was younger. I was a little bit of a troublemaker, so I didn't really get in it right away. But third time was a charm, and I enlisted. It was something I kind of always wanted to do. But before that, in between, I tried certain jobs here, and I was sitting there trying to find my calling in life, and then eventually I came around, so I'm like, all right, before I, commit to any type of career, figured like try and enlist one more time. And lucky enough, I got in, and it just kind of turned my life around and gave me some direction and some meaning, and just opened a plethora of doors for opportunity and stuff like that. So that's kind of what led me to get in.
Nice. So, did you try all three times to get into the Marines, or did you?
I tried the Marine Corps all three times, and then I also talked to the Army as well.
Nice. So, what made you decide the Marine Corps was right for you?
For me, it was about a challenge, pride kind of thing. The Marine Corps has the longest and the toughest boot camp, and some of the toughest and the hardest training. And for me personally, I wanted to do infantry, which that's boots on the ground, going to kill bad guys, all that crazy stuff. And to me, the Marine Corps infantry was the way to go. So that's kind of how I made that decision. And then, if the Marine Corps was going to work out, the Army was still great too. So that's why I talked to them as well.
Nice. So, what did that process look like for like applying and the listing for you? Are there tests and medical records and stuff like that?
So first of all, you go down. If you talk to a recruiter, you got to do what's called a practice ASVAB test. I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of heard of the ASVAB. It's just kind of like a general aptitude test to evaluate certain areas of how smart you are with this and that. You do a practice ASVAB, but then from there it's a bunch of paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork, and especially for somebody like me, like I said, a little bit of a troublemaker. There's a little bit more paperwork than normal, but you do a lot of paperwork. You do physicals, a drug test, and all that stuff. And generally, what happens is, let's say they're like, okay, if everything works out, you can enlist. You go, you swear in, and then you go what's called into a delayed entry program. So you sit there and kind of go down to the recruiter's office, and then you work out and do all this stuff, and then you kind of wait for your turn to go to boot camp. And then once that time comes up, you go to boot camp, and more paperwork and tests, physicals, and all that stuff, and then you finally go off.
So, basic training is rough from what I hear. What does that look like?
So I can only speak on the Marine Corps, obviously. It's the longest, and it's the hardest. I'll tell anybody this: anybody, absolutely anybody, can do the Marine Corps boot camp. I don't care, if you're, out of shape, slow, short, whatever. Anybody can do it. It's not a physical thing; it's all a mental thing. So if you want to do it, you can do it. But I mean, it starts off from day one. It turns your world upside down. They do the whole head shave thing, and then from there, for me, the hardest part was you're no longer really a person. So it's like when you speak, you can't say, "Hey, can I go to the bathroom?" You gotta say, can this recruit go to the bathroom?" And so I got yelled at for that a whole bunch. But I mean, from there, it's just you're from sleeping to eating. You gotta sit there, left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee, and all this other stuff. And I obviously don't know what the bathroom situation is for girls, but for guys, it's very awkward. You got very, very little time to use the bathroom. So sometimes you might have a couple guys using the same urinal at the same time. And so you got a lot of awkward stuff to deal with, but it is a mental thing. And I'll tell you, anybody can do the Marine Corps boot camp. Anybody can do any boot camp. It's just if you want to do it.
So would you give any advice to somebody who's thinking about enlisting, doing the paperwork to prepare for going to boot camp? Like, is there anything that you can mentally or physically prepare for?
Mentally, I'd say I don't really know if there's much you can do to prepare. Just expect the worst, and then expect that somehow it might even get worse than that. But but I will tell you this: if you get in really good shape, physically, and you get in, you run, do pull-ups, do crunches, all that stuff. If you get in really good physical shape, that makes the mental aspect a little bit easier. Because then it's harder for you to reach that point of wanting to quit, because you're gonna what's gonna get happen is, I believe it was called IT, that's individual training. So that's when you got, maybe you and two other guys, and the drill instructor sitting there, screaming, push, 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 jumping jack, jump. And so, if you're in better shape, you're gonna feel better for longer. So if you can get as good a physical shape as you can, that will help the mental aspect out a little bit better.
So you were a little bit of a troublemaker. Maybe me, when I was younger, I might have had a little bit of an attitude when it came to authority. So how do you mentally get through the being screamed at and being completely told, you got to wake up at this time, you got to go to sleep at this time, this is what you're going to eat, this is how you're going to think, this is how you're going to talk, this is how you're going to walk?
It's crazy to think about, but when people have a problem with that, it's because of pride. So if you can just swallow pride, your drill instructors don't have anything personal against you. They're doing it because they're trying to make you a better person. They're trying to form you into like into a warrior, a soldier, a marine, an airman, or anything like that. So as long as like you can take somebody's just yelling at you, it's like it's not personal. So just swallow pride and just do what you're told. I mean, that's all you got to do. It's as simple as that. You got direction. You don't have to really think for yourself. You're literally told what to do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed.
So after you complete basic, then what? Is that when like you get to pick or assigned a job?
So for the Marine Corps, it's a little bit different than the other branches. You technically don't get to pick your job. So like if somebody's like got a particular career path they're thinking or something like that, and they want to use their military experience to transition to the civilian world, I would say go with the Army. I don't know about the Navy and the Air Force. The Army, you get to pick your job.
Okay.
I kind of lucked out with the Marine Corps. I want to do infantry. My recruiter, I was his first recruit, so it was a little bit of a bumpy process, and the communication wasn't great. The day before I left for boot camp, I thought I was going to be an aviation mechanic. And I'm sitting there before, the night before, and I got somebody going down with all my paperwork and everything like that. It's like, oh, so blah blah blah, this and that, and you're going to be 0300 infantry. I'm like, well, that's not what it was supposed to be, but that's what I want to be. And she was like, all right, cool, if it works for you. And so for the Marine Corps, you pick your job before you go to boot camp, and then if you're infantry, after you complete boot camp, you go to what's called the School of Infantry, or also known as Infantry Training Battalion, which is an 8-week course. Of 4 weeks of it is basic infantry stuff. The second 4 weeks, if you choose to, like I did, you can specialize in a certain weapon, and then it's just all for that. If you do not infantry, I think it's 4 weeks or something like that. It's called MCT, Marine Combat Training. This is where they kind of say every Marine is a rifleman. So you do a little bit of infantry training, and then afterwards, depending on your MOS, that determines how long your schooling is for that. I know like Intel, and then like aviation mechanic. Aviation mechanic is a 5-year contract because of how long the schooling is before you actually get to the fleet and do your job. So there's a lot of variables that go into play with what happens right after boot camp too. So
Okay. So a lot of young people will, get a little nervous. Well, what if I end up being in war? So what were you sent on any tours, and what kind of is the general consensus of like how to make it through it and how to come back being okay? And if you come back and you're not okay, like what type of support is there?
So as far as like going to war right now, I wanted to. I wanted to go put my life on the line, and honestly, I would have rather died over there serving my country than come back to where I am. My family, they're like, oh, you're crazy, But something like that, it's super rare nowadays. Our military presence isn't huge. There isn't really big war. I deployed once to Iraq, and my first deployment, my family was crazy. Everybody's crying when I was leaving. and it was absolutely boring. I didn't really do too much cool, and I got in the best shape of my life. Got to go to the gym a lot, and then I did a second deployment to Syria, which was kind of a complete 180. A little bit kinetic and stuff like that, a little bit of crazy stuff, but nothing too crazy. And that's another thing where they kind of mentally prepare for it, infantry wise, and the support you got, it's from the friends you make, your the guys in your platoon, your family. There's an absurd amount of veterans resources. If you need to reach out, talk to somebody, there's so much help everywhere, and it's almost like too much. You're like, oh my god, well, who do I call? Who do I talk to? It's like, pull a number out of a hat, and you got so many people and resources to refer to if if you're not doing okay, or if you just need somebody to talk to.
Awesome. So in addition to like mental health support, say if you need it, there's also other perks like the GI and like the home loan and things like that. So what are some of the other perks of joining the military?
I mean, that's another thing too. Like the pluses that come out of it is ridiculous. I mean, across the board, every branch, you get the same benefits, for the GI Bill and stuff like that. The healthcare, you go to the VA if you need to. And then the house I'm in right now, I just used the VA home loan to get this, and it was, super easy. I didn't have to put any money down. I got a great interest rate on it and stuff like that. And then there's all sorts of other like programs you can opt into and get cool discounts on clothes and gear and stuff like that. And then everyone's got a veteran or military discount. I mean, we just had Veterans Day yesterday. There's every restaurant out there is giving free meals and stuff like that. Not why I joined, but it's something cool. It's great that the country takes a day out to say, hey, thank you for this and that. And it's one of those things. I got there's more benefits than I can even really like think to remember or anything like that.
So I know you touched on like the friends that you make. So what would you say about that? So before you used to get into a little bit of trouble, I know a lot of the young adults that I work with, are coming from rough situations, and it's hard. Maybe your family's into certain things or your friends are into certain things. It's hard to get away from those things that can get you into trouble. But when you go to the military, what kind of friend do you expect to make while you're there?
To me, that would be the selling point for anybody in the military, is you will make some of the best friends you never thought you could. I got some friends that I still talk to that I've known for 20 years that are some of my best friends. And I hate to say it, but some of my friends that I made in the military, I'm closer with them, to the things you go through. They're the ones to the left and the right of you when you go through it. So they're the only ones that understand, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you are going to meet somebody that's got the same interests, likes the same music, sport, anything like that, same type of movies, you will find a new best friend. A million new best friends.
So it sounds like you would definitely recommend to a young person to join the military. Is there any type of person that you would recommend, okay, well, maybe the military is not right for you?
Honestly, I don't know. I think every young person should consider it. I don't know about the Marine Corps infantry. That's, it's pretty hard if it's something you're looking at this for, I want free school or something like that. Air Force and Navy, you can do a lot of traveling, see a lot of cool stuff, and it's a lot more relaxed, not as much stress and everything like that. A little bit easier, and like the traveling too. But I feel like every young person should consider at least go to all 4 branches, talk to recruiters, get a feel for it, and then and then make a decision from there. But it's one of the best things I've ever done, and it's anybody else that I've talked to, it's one of the best things they've ever done too.
So what else would you tell a young person who's on the fence? What questions did I miss? What would you want to know if you were weighing out, do I get a job? Do I go to college? Do I do another trade?
I know a lot of people, or an issue was like they didn't want to miss out on like the college experience. Military is pretty much, it's a college experience. You're pretty much in a dorm room but bigger. I did find out that our dorm rooms were kind of crappy, but then I went and visited my brother who's going to UIC, and his dorm room was about half the size of my barracks room. But it's pretty much college experience. It's like the Marine Corps is like one big frat, or sorority. You got females in there too, and then you get out, and then you got another 4 years to think about while you're in, like, what do I want to do for a career? And instead of, like, a lot of people right out of high school, they take on all this school debt, and they go to college, they switch their major however many times, and then they kind of set themselves back a little bit. You enlist in the military, there's an extra 4 years to think about what you want to do if you want to go to school, and you don't have to. If you do, it's paid for. So
nice. So now, what are you doing with life?
Me right now, I was doing school until the coronavirus hit. I was trying to go to school for to do IT, and so right now just working. I did get a job doing crime scene cleanup, which was kind of neat. But I'm in the middle of moving. I'm going to go to San Diego and start school back up there.
Nice. Well, I wish you the best of luck in San Diego, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to young people about why they should consider the military as an option. For those of you who are watching this right now, if you're a young, ambitious professional who's on the fence about joining the military, definitely take what Richie has to say in consideration on top of the recruiters. If you have a question for Richie, don't be afraid to drop a comment, because I'll be the first one to send him a message like, hey, so-and-so wants to know this, and more than likely he'll get back to you. And if you decide the military isn't right for you and you want to work on landing your dream job as a civilian, definitely be sure to check out any of my job search strategy videos, because as a young person, life is really hard to decide what way you want to go about it. And that's why the more people you talk about, the more information you get, the easier it is for you to make a decision that will be the best for you. So Richie, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I love talking about it. So yeah, any questions that come in, send them right through. I love talking about it.
Thank you so much.